A good moyed to everybody. It's the intermediate days of the holiday of Sukkot. This is one of the three biblical holidays that back in the times of the Holy Temple, the Jewish people would make aliyah. They would go up. Aliyah means to go up to Jerusalem, as Jerusalem is on a mountain. And throughout the land of Israel, people would go up to Jerusalem to celebrate with the presence of God in the holy temple. Thousands upon thousands of people gather together to eat, drink, and to celebrate. Celebrate our Jewishness, celebrate Torah mitzvahs, and in particular, it's a time of our rejoicing, Zman Simchasenu. Whereas Passover is a time of our freedom, Shavuos is a time of the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai. This is to rejoice. So we sit in booths and we rejoice. We're open to the elements. We're open to the elements because the mitzvah is the schach, the greenery on top, bamboo sticks or whatever kind of natural material that is on top of the sukkah. We're open up to the elements because ultimately we are in God's providence. He controls. As Rosh Hashanah, we declare God to be our king. He's in control. We're here to serve. Yom Kippur, we have now fixed the things that we need to for the penitence and the forgiveness and the atonement, the day of atonement. Now we come to celebrate the relationship we have with God Almighty. That's the beauty of the holiday of Sukkot, that God is surrounding us with the four walls or three walls or two and a bit wall, which is the word of sukkah. The word sukkah is spelled with a samach, which is four sides. A chaf has got three sides, and a hey has two sides and a bit. The three ways you can make a sukkah. And it all shows on a hug. Hug sameach. Chag sameach. It's got the divine hug. So you can get hugged by God Almighty like this, which is for all sides. Or you can get hugged with one arm and a part of an arm. Three. Or just with one arm. You have one, two, and a bit. And you get hugged. What's unique about a hug? What's unique about a hug? Encompasses the backside of the person. Shows a deeper love. Because the love that you look a person in the eyes and you say to them, I love you. So it's touching to their front side, not just their front side, but it's touching into their eyes, which is the window to the soul. And here you're engaged in embracing the backside of the person, meaning even the negativity. As we like to say in our sukkah, even the dirt on your shoes is part of the mitzvah. So this is the holiday we're celebrating now, and we welcome everybody. Chag Sameach. Wonderful holiday. Welcome to Tanya Today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zich and Kadeshim in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Well, we'll begin with the current chapter of 23. In this chapter, the Alter Rebbe is not, or the letter rather, not chapter, 23rd letter. The Alter Rebbe is writing to his followers that they should engage in Torah study, public Torah study. Now, of course, this is a question about our Torah study. It's, so to speak, in public, and in a way, it's not in public. It's in public because we're all gathered on different platforms, and you can see me at least. I see your name. I don't see you, right? But it's not really in private because we're coming together to learn. At the same time, you're in your own private home learning. We're not coming into the synagogue here at Chabad Zich and Kadeshim and all around. Well, we do have around the table, but I'm talking about all those who are online. So it's a question of, what's the status of our learning if it applies to what we're talking about over here. In any case, what the Alter Rebbe is inspiring his followers is that when they go to prayer services in the afternoon, or what's called mincha, afternoon service, that leads then to the night service, mariv, that in between they should study together publicly, because the study in the public with a minyan of people, with 10 plus, is very unique. That's where we're going over here. So the statement is made by the decree of the wakeful angels and by the word of those holy ones. And who's this? It's referring to the Torah scholars who are like angels, ministering angels. And as the Mishnah says, that's taught in the ethics of our fathers, Pirkei Avot, that says if 10 people sit together and engage in the study of Torah, the divine presence, the Shekhinah, rests among them, right? It rests among them, meaning it's not only hovering over them, because that would be encompassing light, but it is saying that through the Torah study, as we're doing right now, the Shekhinah is resting up among them, meaning it's an internalized way, not beyond them, but within them. And as the Alter Rebbe says, quoting from King Solomon, for this is the entire whole purpose of creation of man, right? That the divine presence should rest, excuse me, amongst us. Moreover, the soul's very descent into this world is for this ascent that's accomplished through the public Torah study. Public Torah study. Now, what is it about the public Torah study? Well, the Shekhinah, the divine presence of God, is so powerful that the heavens above cannot contain it, maintain it. It's too lofty for it, right? But where is it? As God says in the verse in the book of Numbers, for I, God, dwell among the children of Israel. And the term that's used is toich in Hebrew, amongst, which is an unusual term that amongst, it could have said bi, which means in, bibnei Israel, but it says b'toich. The word means amongst. Now that word is also used in another reference to the 10 spies of Israel who went into the land of Israel. Also says that b'toich.
How long do I have to stay among them? God says, how long
Yeah.
do I have to stand this?
But the term is toich toich. Toich toich is the same word that could have been expressed differently, but it's used that term. So this is called in the learning out in Talmudic teachings called Gzeira Shava. Gzeira Shava means we compare one word with another word that are equal words in different contexts, completely different context. Right? Here's God says, I'm dwelling amongst you, Bnei Israel. So what is the parameter of that dwelling? So in other places it says they're referring to the 10 spies that God, is amongst them, right? So, and that's 10. From there we know that when is the dwelling of God is a number 10. And the number 10. So likewise, we learn from there that all congregational recital, like saying the Kaddish, right? The mourner's prayer for a deceased, for example, or Kiddusha, that's said, has to be done with 10 men. Has to be done with 10, because that's how we learn it out. That's when the divine presence is there, that we have certain holy things that are lofty. In order to bring that loftiness down here, we need a minion, as it's called, 10. And that's where we learn it out from. Right? Now, so that's the divine presence of God. When you're learning Torah and there's 10 people, well, how about if there's only one person? So our sages also teach us in the same Mishnah of the ethics of our fathers, also teaches us, because it asks the question, where do we know that if one person sits and engages in the study of Torah, that God Almighty doesn't say that there's an indwelling of the divine presence, but he set a reward for him. So we have two things here. We have the indwelling of the divine presence called the Shekhinah, and we have a reward. Different terminology, which means a different expression on God's presence. The distinction is as follows. As the Alter Rebbe says, it's understood by the discerning thinker. Reward means that God irradiates that person's soul who's studying Torah alone, on their own, not with a congregation, not with a community, but on their own. The soul that seeks out God, the light of his Torah, in which that God garbs himself with Torah, the light of Torah. Now, the metaphor of a garb, we've had that before, means just like my garment or your garment that you wear fits the wearer, right? It fits the sleeve and the lapel, everything, the shoulder, everything is, so to speak, made to measure, right, as the term would be with clothing. So likewise, the light of God is also made to measure. That's the reward. That irradiates the soul with a ray of light, a minimal light of God. When a person learns on their own, that's the reward. It's inherently a limited light, and it must be integrated within the faculties of the individual. So just as the soul is limited, so likewise is the light of God that illuminates the individual. When you call upon God in your learning, illuminates the soul of the individual. In particular, when you, after that learning, you pray and seeking out God to connect to him in a time of prayer. The soul delights in the pleasantness of God that becomes revealed to a person, again, important, in a limited fashion. Right? This is the allotment of the reward, the study of Torah, when always fixed in the soul of the soul that labors in the study of Torah individually. Okay. Now, the indwelling of the Shekhinah, which is an intense radiation of the light of God, that's without limit or end. Not like when you're learning alone, but it cannot become vested, meaning integrated and internalized within the finite soul, but it encompasses from above, from head to foot. Okay. No, that's actually what we got to wait for. We will continue with the 23rd letter. But we missed also because of the holiday, the 22nd letter. So I want to just give over a brief note on it. Now that I bespoke about prayer there. I also spoke about the connection that the Jewish people have with each other, that we are like one body of people, which is unique to the Jewish people. And therefore, if there is pain, there's pain in the left hand, the right hand's not going to say, well, what kind of stupid thing are you doing that, and gives it a, right, because it's giving itself a smack. It itself is because you're really a part of each other. And therefore, if someone does ill, don't go into their head space to try to figure out what ill they did, or not what ill they did, not the actions, because the actions speak for themselves. What was their intent? Or even if they did something good, and to ascribe to them ill intent, that is means you're disconnected from that individual. To see a negative thing is one thing, because you saw the action. You saw the action was a negative action. That's one thing. But to ascribe to it ill intent, or even if the opposite, you saw something good and you ascribe to it ill intent, right? Person gave charity and you are, you just, trying to look good in front of people. Don't go into the heart of another individual to project ill intent upon that individual. That means you're disconnected to that community member, to that fellow Jew. It means you're not sensing you're one body. Not good. Can you still receive Hashem's embrace even if you're unable to build a sukkah? Yeah. First of all, we're learning Torah now, so you're getting it this way. You do lulav and esrog. You get also. Are you missing something because of the sukkah? Yeah, you're missing. So go Chol Hamoed. Yeah. Go Chol Hamoed into a sukkah. Right. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, folks, we're going to go to Rambam now. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zerich and Gedeshim, Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have an amazing, great day. Thank you for joining. Tonight there will be Torah studies. Please come and join us.